Sorry, we were talking about more.
I knew it was important, that's why I gave you a minute to finish.
Thank you.
All right, welcome everybody, good evening. Once again, I'll remind us about our vision that we believe in opportunities, achievement, and community for all. And the mission that supports that is the School District of Milton, in partnership with the community, prepares our students for achievement and lifetime readiness by providing opportunities for all. So with that framework, I will call to order the Board of Education meeting for Monday, September 25th. Please join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Rich, are you aware of any changes to our agenda?
No changes to the agenda. I move to approve the agenda as presented. I'll second that.
Thank you. Rick's motion seconded by Dave to approve the agenda. Does anyone have questions? I see none. All in favor, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That passes. Minutes, which are included in board docs as they always are.
I'll move to approve the minutes for the regular meeting held on September 11th, 2023 as presented.
I'll second that.
That was Jennifer's motion with a multitude of seconds that we'll give to Rick. Does anybody have questions on the minutes? All in favor of approval, please signify with aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Thank you. Vouchers are next, as usual.
I'll move to approve general checking account vouchers totaling $1,008,979.56 as presented.
Second that.
Thank you. John's motion is seconded by Dave to approve checking account vouchers in the amount that he enumerated. Does anyone have questions on the vouchers? And if you are in favor of approval, please signify with aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Thank you very much. Public comment, I perused the sheet and saw nothing. Rich, would you double check, please?
No.
All right, we will move on. Then that takes us right back to Rich. And A, under the superintendent update, are the Red Hawk highlights. So the second half of the meeting is our administrative folks.
Yeah, so we'll have our administrators come to the podium and share highlights from the last couple of weeks of school or things that are coming up.
Good evening. At the K3 for K3 world, under the guiding principle of community, I just want to give a shout out to all 4 of our elementary schools. We all had a float in the parade, and those things seem like maybe a little thing, but to have that representation and to see how excited our students get when their teachers and staff go by as Red Hawks and celebrating homecoming week, it was pretty cool to see. We all did different themes, spirit days, and so many of the students and staff get into that. It was just a really great week. In the area of achievement, we are wrapping up our iReady testing this week. That's our universal screener. And then we're working to get our meetings scheduled with our student services teams and our interventionists so that we can start digging into that data and making some intervention and support planning decisions. So that's coming up the end of this week and into next week, so we can get rolling. And then under opportunity, this is an exciting time of year in elementary schools. All of our schools have some sort of fall festival type activities with our PTO or parent groups. So we're all working on those things, and we're planning a family tech night that's organized through the National PTO Association. We hosted one of these many years ago. I probably remember that, and we held it for all K6 families. We invited in the Harmony Gym. We had more staff attend than families attend, so we're going to try a different approach, and it's a Zoom option with a national trainer who educates families on all the different kinds of apps and things that they should know about security at home with the devices, and it's just good parent outreach. And so we're planning that for mid-October, so we'll get that out in the newsletters next week.
Hi everyone. We've had a very charmed start to the school year at Northside. We're super excited that we have approximately 40 new students this year, additional students, and new to the district. So super fun. Hazel has been hugely imperative in helping our students to feel welcomed, and it's been a huge asset to our climate and culture, as well as helping ease that transition. Along with our student services team, who has been hosting like new student lunches, and also just our teachers and our students at Northside have been extremely welcoming. So it's been a good transition for our 40 brand new to the district students. We also had a wonderful time, like Sarah mentioned, during homecoming week. A lot of school spirit was shown, a lot of smiles, a lot of laughs. We appreciate all the organization that went into that. Our students also just finished iReady, so we finalized our formal interventions for during the day, as well as our opportunity hour in the morning groups. And then on our PD day, our teachers will be digging deeper into the iReady data to determine like tier 2 groups and look at, what students require, intervention during one time, on-level tasks and activities to work through with the teacher, as well as extension activities. So they're looking forward to that on Tuesday or on Monday, as well as looking at our focus of our theory of action plan and incorporating things such as like vocabulary, as well as staff and student wellness. And we're super excited to have the time, so we appreciate that. We have a huge thank you to our parents group. So Friends of Northside has done a phenomenal job this year with fundraising. We're working towards a new playground. The playground is original. It would have been year 2 of Northside after being built. And they recommend about 25 years. So they've really been working hard in the fundraising efforts and just finished. Our families have been so supportive, and I believe we've probably broken all sales records this year, which is very exciting. We're looking forward to Outdoor Ed, which starts tomorrow, and great work by Emily Smith and Chris Kleist to get that organized. That's a kind of a year-round project, and kids are super excited. So that goes tomorrow through next week. I believe Superintendent Dom is going to be coming and joining us one night as well this week, which we're excited for. And we're just looking forward to continuing a strong start to the school year. So thanks for all your support.
Good evening. At the middle school, we are really focusing on the relationship, climate, and culture pillar, and really focusing on the environment. So some of the things that connect to that over the last few weeks, we have kind of done a revamp of our lunch procedures, hallway procedures, and cell phone expectations. And I would say it's almost a night and day difference from last school year to this school year, so we're excited about that. Each Monday that we have students in the building, that is not the last Monday of the month, if you can follow that. There's a video that students watch in advisory that's messages for Mr. Yasher and me. Our goal is to make each of those videos in one take. We do share those with families as well after they've been shared with students. But that is highlighting celebrations around the school, but also areas of focus that we can look forward to seeing some positive changes in that following week. We had our first monthly assembly today. So today included recognizing our SEL students of the month. We recognized our 48 tennis players, our 91 volleyball players, shared a homecoming slideshow from last week's celebration with students or family members could share photos, and also some staff throwbacks from their homecoming days. And then we did one of the TikTok trends of just skipping on the spot. We had some adults and students who did some skipping, so we'll have that video to share on our Facebook page as well. And then we did our run, hike, bike practice last week, which we just just being prepared and creating that safe environment should we need to have that information with the run. So we just feel like we've had a really strong start to the school year, and that sense of belonging for our kids is really enough. We're happy about that. Thank you.
All right, at the high school, like others, we actually finished our screening. So we did the chalk screener, all 9th, 10th, and 11th graders did that 2 weeks ago. We're in the process of using that data to take a look at ACB sports sessions. So it will be starting in a few weeks. We'll actually be training staff on how to do those at our PD day. We're very, very grateful for the time we have those PD days to work on that, to look at that data. The band is preparing to leave. They will be this Friday. They'll be going up to Chippewa Falls. We've got a 2-night trip up to Chippewa Falls for their first competition. That will be a sleeping in the gym floor up at Chippewa Falls, but staying up there, which we're appreciative of being able to house us. That's going to be an opportunity for those students. And then this last week was homecoming. and we're very, very excited. Thought it was a great week. Very great for many, many people. Put a lot of hours into making homecoming work. The activities night, we saw over 500 students at activities night. At obviously a well-attended parade and the football game. We had close to 3,500 people at the football game. The dance, we had over 650 students that attended the dance. Bonfire, I believe, had close to 400 students, over 400 students. And I'm very grateful for the Milton Coalition to put that on. And then again, the dance was great on Saturday night. So what we really thought is probably one of it felt like some of the homecomings pre-COVID. It was a great week. It was a great celebration. The Wall of Honor ceremony on Thursday night too. We really feel good about that addition to the week. I want to give a shout out to two individuals. A lot of homecoming is organized by our student council. And we have two advisors who have announced that this is their last year. They're going to be stepping down. They're not leaving teaching or their position. But Dan Deese and Patty Elk are stepping down from student council advisors. They've done it for a very, very long time. And so I thought they did a great job on their last homecoming planning. Talking to both of them after the dance, the time was right for them to step aside. We have a couple of new advisors that are in place. They're going to do a great job. One, Ms. Brechtel is going to be taking over those reins there. Thank you very much, Sarah. But we are, it was a great week, celebration for the entire community, and it certainly was a busy week at once.
One quick announcement from the HR team. The HR team and School Employee Wellness Clinic will be hosting a food clinic on October 4th at the high school in the event commons area. And that will be from 3:30 to 6:30. So we'll be putting out, we already shared out information in our HR newsletter. We'll be sharing out more information with individual emails for staff, as well as emails that we have for our retirees too. So swing on by, get a flu shot at you.
And a couple things that I want to highlight, just reinforce how well homecoming events went. I got a lot of really positive feedback from staff, parents, and community members about all of the homecoming events throughout the week. So great work by everyone involved, particularly the Milton High School team. Then the Milton FFA is going to nationals to receive a 3-star gold national chapter award. So it's a very prestigious award for FFA chapters across the country. So congratulations to them, and we'll be spotlighting that when that event happens. And then we also we've been doing some work to make personal finance a standalone grad requirement for high school graduates. Amy Kenyon came and shared some information about the work that she does, and Milton High School has recently received a gold standard status for being one of 199 Wisconsin schools that already require a personal finance course for graduation. And that award celebrates districts that are being proactive in that regard. That was everything for the highlights for.
All right, it's been, and you have a couple more things that you're gonna.
Sorry, I would just like to say thank you to the district and to all the schools for doing such a great job. It was great to see. I tried to get to as many events as I could. All the engagement, I sat in the traffic when I was driving like with the stop sign as the entire West Elementary School went by. It was a wonderful thing to see. They were so excited to come back from the parade. All walked by and the car park and watch them, and the excitement at the high school, all the folks that I spoke to. It was a fun, it was a safe environment for the dance and the football game and everything. So kudos, I know it's a ton of work and it kind of went off seamlessly. So I'd like to thank all that participated in putting that together for our community and our students.
Yeah, the next thing that I had is last week, Wednesday through Friday, was the State Superintendent's Conference. It was held in Madison. With homecoming activities, I was kind of going back and forth between the events there and things here in the district. But some really excellent both keynote sessions and breakout sessions on the legislative sessions, school district and state budgets, leadership, legal updates, communications, student achievement, and discussion around staffing shortages. We also received a greeting to the superintendent group from Governor Evers and from State Superintendent of Schools, Joe Underwood. So it was a really nice event at the end of last week. The next thing that I have is an update on enrollment. As you remember, last Friday was the third Friday in September, so that was our the date that we and other districts across the state conduct our third Friday count, and that's a count of both our enrollment and our resident students. We'll be bringing that official enrollment and resident count to the board at the second board meeting in October once we get that verified by the state. We collect that info, send it to the state. They look at all the information from all the districts and then get it back out to the state, to the districts across the state. But the preliminary enrollment numbers look very good. We have a slight increase from last year, even though we graduated a very large class. That increase is fueled by both move-ins, people moving into the district at a higher rate than people moving out, and by open enrollment. We're continuing our trend of seeing increased enrollment, open enrollment into the district, and stable or even a little bit of a decrease in open enrollment out of the district. So we're very pleased with the preliminary, both enrollment and open enrollment numbers, and we'll be bringing more information on that to the board once we get that back from the state. And then the last thing that I had is that next week, October 1st through 7th, is School Board Appreciation Week across the state of Wisconsin. We will be looking for some social media posts celebrating our school board. We have some cookies tonight, so the board and the audience, help yourself to some cookies here to celebrate next week's School Board Appreciation Week. And it's often said that you can't have a high-functioning school district without a high-functioning school board. We're fortunate here in the school district of Milton to have 7 individuals that are very dedicated to their work and do an outstanding job. So it's an important role that all of you fill and that the group fills. And on behalf of all the students and families and staff and our communities across the district, thank you to our board members for the work that you do.
Very good, thanks, Rich. I did have a question if we back up to the enrollment thing. The importance of the third Friday count is obviously a big piece of our puzzle, right? Especially for the revenue calculation, et cetera. What's typical there? I mean, are there students that aren't counted? Like if the kid's homesick or going on a trip or whatever, are we able to count? Give us a little idea of who can we count?
We count the students who are here and who are enrolled as of that day, but the state gives leeway. If someone's absent that day, it doesn't mean that they don't get counted.
Okay, that was my question. You know, kids are, if they were there Thursday, but they happen to be gone Friday, we can still use them in our numbers.
Yes, if they're out on that Friday, but they're here the day before or the Monday after, we still include them.
Okay. Very good. Any other questions for Rich, the superintendent world update wise? All right, thank you. Rolling on, new business. A, as Ross is making his way up, I will give the title of his little agenda item here is a discussion and possible action on the resolution that would authorize a taxable tax and revenue anticipation promissory note for cash flow purposes in an amount not to exceed $1,900,000. And we talked about this a little bit. Ross kind of previewed this a little bit, I think, at his last presentation. So if you want to update us on what you think we need to do, and we'll see what we can get done.
Sure thing. As you mentioned last meeting, we did talk about cash flow and kind of an overview of the annual process for most school districts in Wisconsin. And that for the school district of Milton, our low point is the end of November, beginning of December. This year, we chose not to go through a formal bond offering or issue a note, which we would typically do for identified cash flow needs and have just revolving line of credit, which we've done the last couple of years. Instead of that, we're doing just a line of credit because this is the lowest our full cash point has been in many years. And I feel comfortable that this line of credit would be enough to get us through that low point in November. So we did solicit some bidding information from First Community Bank, the Bank of Milton, and the results on the memo that was in the information provided tonight, as well as the draft resolution and the updated resolution which we received from Worrell this morning, identifying that First Community Bank pulled out ahead in their bid for this line of credit. So this evening, I'm recommending that we authorize the line of credit for First Community Bank at a rate of 6.98%. In reference to last year, yes, this rate is significantly higher than previous years, but as any lending institution will tell you right now, that is true of most rates across the board. So I'll be working to make sure that we can minimize use of this while still having the flexibility of getting
And I think it bears repeating, you told us, and I think it's true, that you would anticipate a short window that this would be potentially even necessary.
Yes, if you look at the detailed cash flow that we've been running, it's literally the last week of November and the first week of half of December when we get our first major aid payment from the state, so that's second week of December, which will get us back up to a positive cash flow.
Sure. So just a hypothetical, if we use the entire 1.9 for 3 weeks with a 7% APR, the interest is not a big number, I'm sure.
No, because we'd be paying back almost immediately.
Yeah.
Based on that time.
Yeah.
Correct.
So. All right. Questions, anyone? Or we have a recommended action if we choose to.
I'll move to adopt the resolution authorizing a taxable tax and revenue anticipation promissory note for cash flow purposes in an amount not to exceed 1.9 million pursuant to section 67.128A1 and approve the temporary borrowing from First Community Bank in an amount not to exceed 1.9 million at an interest rate of 6.9%.
I'll second that.
Okay. That was Tracy's motion, seconded by John. Would you like to abstain? I assumed as much. Are there other questions on the motion? We'll note Dave's abstention. All in favor of the approving the motion, sorry, please signify with aye.
Aye.
And opposed? I call that passed. Thank you, Ross. Thank you. All right, and I'm going to assume we have a substitute here because I do not see John. B is discussion and possible action on the Northside Mackenzie environmental field trip, which we probably need to get cracking on if they're leaving tomorrow.
They're leaving tomorrow, so yes, it would be great to have board approval on that tonight. The memo highlights the details, and we've been doing the north side outdoor ed trip for a large number of years. I am excited to be able to get up there on Thursday and check it out. I haven't seen it yet in the years that I've been here, so I'm really excited about that. The information is shared there in the memo. If there aren't any questions, there is a recommended motion to approve the field trip as presented.
I got a quick question. What is board policy JJH? Is that a typo? First paragraph of the rule.
Yeah, that JJH should be there, just should say percent of board policy.
I would make a motion to approve Northside Mackenzie environmental trip as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Dave's motion is seconded by Rick to approve the outdoor ed trip to Mackenzie up in Pointe. Questions? All in favor of approval, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Call that passed. And I might add, Rich, that it is imperative that you get in and help cook. That is the absolute most fun piece of that puzzle.
We'll see about that.
As a two-time chaperone, I concur.
And I was a two-timer also, so.
I'll wear my cooking clothes.
Sure. All right, and then the other one, I presume this is Rich's world.
Yep.
C is confidential settlement of the vaping lawsuit.
Yes, back in November of 2021, our school district joined a mass action lawsuit against vaping companies based on the costs that schools and municipalities across the country incurred due to youth vaping. The board approved back in November of 2021 joining that mass action lawsuit. The board approved a settlement with one of the vacant companies in March of 2022 when there was a financial settlement with the school district that went along with that. But at that time, there were ongoing settlement negotiations with another vaping manufacturer. And now in the past week and a half or so, a group settlement has been reached in the rest of that class mass action suit. The terms of the settlement are confidential, part of the agreement between the company and the law firm that represented the mass action suit, where that the terms remain confidential, but they are included in the executive content of board docs. And the board has an option of either accepting the negotiated financial settlement offer, turning down the settlement offer, or having the district conduct our own negotiations with the company. My recommendation would be that we approve acceptance of our portion of the settlement offer.
Which we have, all this. Share, let's go through this.
I'll make a motion to approve the vaping settlement as presented.
I'll second.
Rick's motion, seconded by Tracy, as you just heard, would be to approve the vaping settlement as Rich has recommended and is presented in the memo. Questions from anyone? All in favor, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, I call that passed also. Okay, a miscellaneous A is staffing report. Using board docs for your review.
I move to approve the staffing report as presented.
Second.
Thank you. That was Dave's motion, seconded by Jennifer to approve the staffing report. Are there any questions? All in favor of approval, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is also clearly passed. Gifts and donations are similarly included in board docs. I see 5,050 on the list.
Make a motion to approve the gifts and donations. Correct.
Second. Thank you. Rick's motion is seconded by John to approve our gifts and donations with the gratitude of our district and board. Questions on those? All in favor of approval, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That also clearly passes. Meeting dates, Mr. Dahman?
Next regularly scheduled board meeting will be on Monday, October 9th, 2 weeks from tonight at our regular 6:30 start time here at district office in PDC. We have a joint finance and policy/legislative committee meeting coming up on Friday, September 29th at 1 p.m. That will be in the first floor conference room here at district office. That is, again, the finance committee and the policy/legislative committee. There won't be any new policies that will be looked at, but we'll be talking about what's happening at the legislatures, the reason that we're having both of those committees involved in that. And then we also have a finance committee meeting scheduled for October 18th at 6 p.m. Here at district office in the first floor conference room. And an HR committee meeting for October 11th at 10 a.m. in the first floor conference room.
All right. The other thing I wanted to bring up, Rich, are you and or Ross able to go to there are public hearings this week on both of the bills presented relative to this revenue limit discussion at the state legislature?
Ross and I are planning to attend. We've been in communication with some other districts in our area that are in the same position. We're also sending representatives and we'll be sharing out a letter from Ross and I on behalf of the school district. Also, the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce has written a letter in support of our district's position on the bill to repeal the restriction on access to the $11,000 revenue limit.
I just want to make sure folks were aware of that.
I'll give the board an update on how that hearing goes tomorrow with the Senate committee, and then on Thursday there's another hearing with